These messages will now become subliminal, but your subconscious mind will be hearing and accepting all of the positive messages. Listen to the tapes as often as you can. The more you listen, the sooner success will come.
Wake me up from this physical world.
Hello, world, and welcome. And thank you so much for joining me for another fantastic episode of the Awaken Your Positive Inner Voice podcast. I am your host, Kenya Zandrowicz. If you are just now tuning in and you want to know what this particular podcast is all about, well, I figure there's so much unease and things that are happening around the world that when it comes to who we are and how we want to engage and interact with life, one of the things that we need to do is to learn how to speak kindly to ourselves. So this show is all about tapping into you, finding that power from within to overcome certain obstacles. And how do you do that? How do you learn to cheer for yourself? Sometimes we have the support of friends and family, and then sometimes we feel a little bit alone because we're not quite sure if anyone can understand or relate to what it is that we're going through. So in those trying times, what do you do? How do you overcome? How do you talk yourself through it? Well, one of the ways that I have learned how to get over that negative hump, the negative Nellies that are sitting on your shoulder and whispering in each ear. How do you transform and change the narrative in your life so that it can become one from a critical nature to one of a supportive nature? And that's what this show is all about. And I am pleased and I am honored to begin to bring on guests who are entrepreneurs, who are successful in their own right, who are talented, who are gifted, and who have also gone through things, and they themselves have had to overcome and go through those situations in order to make it to their next level. And on today's show, I do have two incredible guests. They are the owners of Creative Junk Food, and they have so many wonderful things that are happening for them, and it is so deserved. At one of their peak moments of the success of their company, they experienced a setback. And it's one that they're still working through and overcoming. And so they were able to come onto the show, and I'm so honored to have had them on the show and chat with me about what it is that they do, where they are headed, and some of the magnificent things that are taking place this month for them. So I don't want to hold up and keep you away from this exciting info. Don't you dare move. Take a listen and get to know Creative Junk Food. As promised, everyone, you know how we do it here on the Awaken Your Positive Inner Voice podcast. We have amazing guests who are extremely talented, who join us from time to time to talk about what they have going on. I gave these wonderful individuals a brief introduction, but Creative Junk Food is here. These are the creators. These are the partners in crime for an extended period of time, which that is very impressive in itself, because a lot of times when we're working together, and you know what I mean by this, we're working together, you don't make it this far doing business. And I am sure that, there may be moments of bumping head and differences and things of that nature, but you guys are still here and you're doing it. And I would love for each of you to take a moment to introduce yourselves. Ladies first, if you can introduce yourself to our listeners.
So, hi, my name is Candice. I'm with Creative Junk Food. So let's see. I've been in for 15 years now, and I feel like I don't know, just it's a process and it's a way of things, you know what I'm saying? It's a way of where we got to, kind of make things happen regardless of what we do. But we do animation, videography, public art. So we kind of just do it all. And let's see, I got my BFA. Went to Virginia Commonwealth University, and I got my BFA in communication arts. And yeah, I mean, I've been doing, whether it's design, animation, branding. I mean, I've been doing that for the past 15 years, and I love it. I definitely love it.
Nice. Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Hey everybody, I am Nabi, Bilal, another co-founder of Creative Junk Food. As Candice said, we've been at it for 15 years. We met each other in high school as freshmen at Duke Ellington, visual arts majors. I also had my journey of going to college at Temple University, where I studied graphic and interactive design, got into animation, programming, all different forms of design and interaction. And, this is it's just great to be here. And I'm excited to share more about our story and just like our process of working and our way of being.
Now, this is a big month for you guys. From what I'm understanding, you have a big project that you've been working on, and it is finally going to truly come to fruition for other individuals to enjoy. I'm trying to say this without spilling the beans a little bit, because I would like for you to kind of tell our listeners what that date signifies for you that you've been working on so diligently all of this time. So, Candice, if you want to go ahead and let my viewers and my listeners know a little bit about what you got going on.
So I think it's the Go-Go Museum, and it opens on, I believe, February 18th. Yeah, 18th, and yeah. So I mean, it's kind of huge for us as far as going. It's about kind of go-go and the history, the culture, what it represents, and I mean, it's a real big deal for us. And so the fact that it's kind of happening now, happening in February, it just kind of so important for us. So yeah.
So Nabi, tell me, how does it feel surreal for you and a go-go museum? That in itself, because I love go-go. Like I said, I'm, born and raised Baltimore, Maryland. I am familiar.
Yeah.
So what is it about the go-go music and that particular culture that you felt drawn to present it in such a way?
Well, I mean, go-go is it's a native music of Washington, D.C. When you think about D.C. culture and things that should forever be synonymous with this city, go-go is one of the first things that comes to mind. And, music in and of itself is kind of like a memory. It's kind of like a memory card. Like it carried the rhythms you find in go-go carry from Africa to Latin Americas to here in America. So there's a lot of historical relevancy that go-go has to the African American, story, and like the transatlantic slave trade that is evident in the society that we live in today. And it is a bit surreal to say that we got to work on the National Go-Go Museum, as I think they'll eventually begin to call it, being people who are native to DC, who grew up here, who experienced where go-go was sort of like looked at as a genre that you didn't want to be associated with, to seeing it really grow and evolve and being able to say, wow, this is what happens when an art form gets to mature. This is what happens when the people who love that art form get to mature within that space, and it gets to be held up and honored in a way that, just befits something that you uphold culturally with a lot of reverence. So it's just really an honor when I think about it all.
Yeah. So how long ago, and either one of you can answer, or you both can, how long ago would you say that this was birthed, so to speak? How long did it take you to get from the idea to implementation and to where you are now?
You want to start with that, Candice, or you want me?
Yeah, I mean, so it started out with the museum. I mean, it was kind of brick and mortar, but it was nothing there. And so we actually did the Google Bus first. So we did the Google Bus, which is like a mobile express. And then so we did that, and then it came down to brick and mortar it up or whatever. I mean, it was awesome to kind of like be a part of the whole thing from the beginning, the creative processes and all of that. Working with Ron Moulton and Dr. Natalie Hopkins, as far as just kind of figuring out what all needs to be in there. We did like the art direction, the creative direction, we kind of did all that. Plus, we actually did some of the work in the museum. So, I mean, it was super great. And so, like now, I mean, like now that it's kind of happening and we're part of it, I mean, it's truly amazing.
And yeah, just to piggyback on what she was saying too, we're in 2025 now, so I would say this kind of started back in 2022 when they initially contacted us, and that was from a previous work that we had done, kind of honoring DC, jazz and DC go-go. We created like these interactive music booths where you could like touch flat paint and it would play sound out of it. And then from there they contacted us and they let us know what their plan was to eventually have this brick and mortar space. But as Candice said, it started with the Go-Go Bus, a mobile experience of the Go-Go Museum that they'll continue to run even with the brick and mortar space now. So it really had, for us, being involved, it's been about a close to 3-year odyssey. And for the founders, obviously, it's been a bit longer because, they had to have this vision before they contacted us.
Right. Wow. And so when it comes to the creative mind, and I always say that those of us that are really creative and you can create something out of nothing, or you can take someone's vision or idea, you can bring it to life. You think differently, but than most people. And you two have come together, and it's almost as if, I always say, like with me and my business partner, I'll say pinky and the brain, right? Like you come together and we're going to take over the world, right? So you two are clearly in sync when it comes to that creative process. And if you don't mind, for each of you, can you take me through what your creative process looks like? Like, where do you go? What do you do? Do you close yourself off from the world? Do you turn on your favorite song? How do you get in that zone to be able to wrap your head around and create something of this magnitude? And Candice, we'll start with you.
I like to start with kind of, like I said, getting into my zone. I listen to like R&B and hip hop, and also go-go. But so I listen to that. I mean, as far as like my zone and my process and, the things I do to kind of, like move, kind of move my muscle or whatever, kind of get it going, or whatever. It's, I don't know. It's like, I kind of travel to like a different type of place. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not just like where I'm at or what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, I kind of move beyond that. But I mean, I also look at, like Pinterest or, like Google Images. I mean, kind of just come up with anything to kind of just get started and kind of get things flowing. And then, I mean, just kind of really just kind of go from there.
Okay.
Yeah. I got up in there too. So, yeah, similarly, a lot of it kind of starts with getting in the mode. So like music, we'll do that. Like if we're working on any particular project that has, especially that has music related to it, using that music to get into the zone and block out the world helps. I mean, in this case, obviously working on the Go-Go Museum, that involved consuming a lot more Go-Go music and a lot of different genres of Go-Go music, because there's more than just Chuck Brown. There's, backyard band, junkyard band. There's some of the modern day Go-Go acts as well too. So just really kind of getting immersed, because there's an energy within that you can't quite put into words, but it kind of gets to your soul, and music is very spiritual in that way. So I would say it starts there, and then Candice and I will usually kind of connect on maybe some of the things we're thinking of. We'll usually do about 3 to 5 options of a look and feel, so that we can kind of get the best, come to the best consensus on, hey, what's working best, share that with our clients, see what they're thinking. And then we tend to make modifications from there. They tend to let us know which direction that they're liking. So we'll take that, and then we'll make modifications and come back. And then sometimes, I mean, with Candice and I, the way we work is, even though a lot of times we are kind of virtually working together, whenever we do come together, it always works best, because I can see what she's doing, and then she might piggyback off of something that I did and like hit the nail on the head, or I might piggyback off of something that she did where I'm like, okay, I see where you were going there. Let me take that. Let me try something. Yeah. So it is really like a spirit of collaboration. And even with this project, just because of the magnitude of it, we did have additional people come in and like help out with it and provide their input too, because for us, it was just too big of a project to leave it to just us alone. And then we wanted to have as much perspective as we could, and with people who also appreciated the genre and the culture as well.
Wow. So I can honestly say that I feel like when it comes to those individuals, and it doesn't matter, any artist, any painter, any writer, any actor, there truly is a different way of thinking and a different way of seeing the world, and different ways of tapping into what that energy is, right? So you can kind of hone in on the task that's in front of you. And you guys have been doing that for some time. And Candice, I understand that during this time of preparing for this particular project, you guys did face some adversity, and it was very scary at some point in time. And if you don't mind, can you share what that experience was? And then I kind of want to, dive in a little bit deeper with that, because I kind of want to know how you were able to talk yourself through it and walk yourself through it. And you too, Nabi, like how, were you able to offer your support and at the same time keep yourself strong, knowing, you know what, we're going to pull through. I'm going to help get us through the finish line. So Candice, if you don't mind, talking about that a little bit.
So I had a stroke, and I had it on 6/6/23. I will never forget it. And I mean, like it was just like overnight, you know what I'm saying? Like I was, up, I was, took a shower after I working on a project. So we was working on a real project, and I was fine. Then I went home, I took a shower, got some eat, and then all of a sudden it's like boom, I was out. And I mean, it's still kind of tough to this day, but I mean, it's kind of like a journey now as far as like, physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech. I mean, it's truly been like humbling, to say the least. To kind of just like, to be like, wow, like all of a sudden, 1 minute I was just up, I was active, I said I was present. And then like suddenly I was just out. And I couldn't really kind of get back for a while. And I mean, thank God for like Nabi and all his like help and like his encouragement. I mean, he definitely like made me want to get through. He definitely made me want to like challenge myself and, do what I need to do, because we both need to kind of get through it together. So, I mean, like, even now, like, it's still a journey. You know what I'm saying? It's still a progress. I'm still kind of learning, like, about myself now. But, I mean, it's just, I would say, honestly, if it wasn't for, like, Nabi and just, like, all his kind of help as far as, like, get through the mural project, like, get through the Go-Go Museum, like, get through everything, I mean, it really just, I wouldn't be here today. So, yes.
So, Nabi, I'm going to let you go ahead and give, your take and your experience, and then I'm going to pose a question to the both of you and give you opportunity to answer that question, because the next question is the one that I think that a lot of my listeners and viewers tune into the show for. So, what was that like on your end, Nabi, when this happened?
Oh man, it was rough. I remember that day like it was yesterday. I remember we were working on a mural in Anacostia, and we weren't quite done yet, but we had said our goodbyes for the day. Like, oh yeah, cool, we're almost done. So I'll see you tomorrow. Maybe 2 or 3 more days, or maybe another week, and we'll knock this out. I get a call from Candice's wife, like, I'm just getting out of the shower. I see a voice message from her wife that says, like, I listened to the voicemail. I'm like, well, this is where, okay. And then she said, I think Candice had a stroke. I'm like, oh my God, like, what? So I dropped everything, head to the hospital. And, eventually she had to be airlifted, and it was a massive stroke. So this is literally life and death. Like, if it weren't for her wife, and I know she says if it weren't for me, she wouldn't recover, but if it weren't for her wife, she wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
And that's like the value, like when we're talking about partnership, business partners, whatever, like partners in life, like that's the value of a really strong partnership, because her wife was with her every day at that hospital. But, in the aftermath, I had so many WTF days where it didn't feel like I was waking up to the reality that I was really facing. And I realized that I had to take on the work that was left. It meant, even though we're talking about the Go-Go Museum and the Berry Project, there were 6 or 7 projects that needed to be done that she could no longer be a part of. The Go-Go Bus being one of them. Like, she was primary on that. And I had to come in. I didn't know full well everything that needed to be done there, because the way we work, we split responsibilities. She might be working on this project primary. I'll be working on this project primary. So it was a lot of just like, how do I get through this? I'm like, how do I get through this? I don't know how to get through this. It was really just a situation where I had to lean on God. I had to lean on family. I had to lean on friends. I had to do what I could to be there for her as well, because, I couldn't stand on my own. It was the hardest period that I could think of going through in life. And it was just balancing the emotion thing, and, oh wow, like, my best friend, is she gonna live? Is she gonna die? Like, sitting in that parking lot, just thinking, watching the sunset thing, and damn, it's over. Like, it's over. Whatever this was, it's over. And then just at some point saying, okay, if whatever it's going to be, it's not going to be done without a fight. So it would just really just dig in and, try and honor her, try and honor what we had done up to that point. So, yeah.
So my question is going to be a series of questions, but my question to each of you first, do you have an inner voice or an inner dialogue that you rely on?
I think I do, but I feel like during, like, when I had the stroke, all of a sudden it was quiet. Like, I didn't hear anything, like, at all. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just silence. And, you know what I'm saying? I couldn't breathe. I couldn't, you know what I'm saying? Like, I had to walk and talk again. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had to build up, so my energy again. Like, I I was nothing. So, yeah, I mean, so it was super quiet because, you know what I'm saying, before I had my stroke, like I could, you know, I could hear it and it was loud, it was boisterous, you know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
it was, yeah, it was everything, you know what I'm saying? And all of a sudden it was just silence.
Wow.
And there was silence. I mean, I would just say like, I don't know, it was like, I guess, you know what I'm saying, but it was resilience that kind of got me through. It was, you know, resilience and kind of like a hope that, man, like, if I can do it, anybody can do it.
Right.
And I say that to say, like, you know what I'm saying, like, I'm here now, you know what I'm saying? Definitely, like, I'm here and active again. So, but, but yeah, I mean, and like, I still kind of, nowadays, I still kind of hear my voice again, but it's still kind of quiet.
Right.
But I hear it. And it's
Right.
slowly climbing up, kind of building up again. So, well, yeah.
Nabi?
Yeah, I think for me, my inner voice changed. And I think it shifts from depending on what's going on and what type of energy I face with circumstances. And I think during this time, my inner voice was a voice of resolve, and it was a voice of, hey, it's okay for you to lie down, but you can't lie down for too long.
Mm-hmm.
And it's okay for you to feel low, but you can't stay down here. Like, you have ability to walk, you need to walk. Eventually you will run, and then from there you'll fly. So I think that was like the voice of resolve that I heard during that time. And I think, again, when you get through that, then the voice becomes whatever else you need to hear at that time, and whatever else, you know, your spirit strengthens itself to. And yeah, at that time, it was just a voice of a reminder of, you know, hey, it's okay. You're hurt, you know, but you still have ability to do some things. And so you got to do it. You got to rise to this occasion. You have to do it.
Right. I definitely want to commend you both on a variety of things. One, you know, understanding that you are creative and allowing your inner expressions to kind of be shown through the work that you do, inspiring other people and then helping to bring others' visions to life. And then I also want to commend you on the partnership, the work relationship, the friendship, and being able to assist each other and push each other through. Because I would imagine, as much as you were worried about her, she was probably concerned about the toll it was taking on you. And so, you know, to have that, to have what you two have in business and in friendship, you hold on to that. It is a very sacred thing. And I think that you'll be very, very successful because of that bond and because of the things that you have gone through. Energetically, that's what I'm feeling from the both of you. And then, you know, just in general, you are doing a beautiful thing in the creative space, because I feel like a lot of our young adults, our children, they are forgetting what art is. We are losing those channels for them to tap into their imaginative play, for them to be able to express themselves creatively, not just with a phone in their hand or a tablet in their hand, but to literally take the paint and create their world. So I want to applaud you on keeping that alive, right? Telling stories through art form. I definitely, that is something that is sacred to me. And I appreciate you guys doing that. Now, before we go, I would like for each of you to take a moment to say something to someone that may be considering going into the arts, the creative arts, into a multimedia space, similar to what you guys are doing. We know that there's a lot of technology out there, and sometimes, you know, it is the lazy man's way out, but it can also be a resource to assist you. The whole point is to let it start from here and here. So is there anything that you could tell anyone out there who's listening or watching what they can do to keep that little flame lit? Like, what things can they do? What can they search for just to keep that creativity alive within themselves? Candice, I'll let you start.
I would say that it's all about, I guess, the drive. You know what I'm saying? And just kind of like the motivation and the fact that, like, no matter, what happens, what occurs, it's about kind of like keeping it going, keeping the shit moving, like keeping it alive. Sort of about kind of like, it's a hope and a dream, and hopefully it's going to be like a legacy. So, yeah, I mean, I know it's like, and it's weird because, like I said, I've been through the stroke now, a year and a half, from my stroke, and I'm just now starting to kind of get my voice back again.
Oh, wow.
I'm just now kind of getting my back again. You know what I'm saying? I'm just kind of getting back, saying, my strength.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would say, honestly, take it from me and my journey. I would just say, honestly, it's about kind of just like keep going, like no matter what comes in, your way or whatever, just like it's about being like unapologetically or whatever, just being yourself and, embracing that identity as far as like, this is about the journey. It's about kind of also reflecting.
Right.
I would say reflecting on, like I said, the past and like the tools and kind of like, so it was already kind of set in stone. It was already kind of laid before you so that you have to, it's like you have to go on. It's like, there's no other way to do it but to go on. So,
right.
I would say anything else.
Nabi?
I would say a few things. I say one, seek inspiration and motivation. You could find that in stories like, Candice's story, perseverance. You could find it by reading books on people who have lived the life, that you can learn from. There's so many ways of mentorship. You don't always have to have a physical mentor in front of you. Some of our mentors have gone long before us, but they left their story for us to be inspired by and to learn from. Also, if you can, find some form of community, because a lot of our inspiration does come from other people, and being in the right place to just sort of motivate you or help illuminate your mind when you might not know all the answers will help you. And then I would say explore your medium, explore your interest and what you can do with all of that. Explore what it looks like when you paint something. Explore what it looks like when you do it digitally. Explore what it looks like if it's more of a three-dimensional form. Don't limit yourself, because at the end of the day, ideas are the cornerstone of everything we do here. And if you can be a Fortune 500 CEO that's essentially just got all these great ideas and all these people to help you execute it, why can't you be a creative from Southeast DC or Baltimore, Maryland, who can do the same thing with their cohorts and create something major and something great?
Thank you both. I need to know the name, which I love, Creative Junk Food. Where and how did that come to play? Like, what does that mean to the both of you?
I say whenever I think of Creative Junk Food, whenever I see the logo, whenever I say the name, I think of like Candice and my way of working together. So I'm a real stickler for naming things and making sure it sounds right, making sure it's just as memorable as it looks. And Creative Junk Food came from us not wanting to simply label our title, our company, name our company Creative Forces or anything standard in that way. We wanted something that kind of inspired creativity, that made you kind of pause, wonder, that made you, that kind of felt like an imprint when you said it. It's just hard to forget.
Right.
And initially we were going to go with Create Junkies was on the table, and then I had a coworker at the time. She's very like church going. When I said junkies, she just like shriveled. I was like, okay, I get it. And then like, yeah, it's like I was like, what about creative junk food? And then Candice liked it. A couple of other partners at the time liked it, and then Candice wanted to work design the logo. And it's funny because we were both playing around with it. And I was like, what about these forums like this? And she's like, oh, that's cool. I was kind of thinking that too. And I was thinking about adding these colors here. And it was just like, oh, perfect.
Exactly.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, I thank you two so very much for joining me. Before I let you go, I would love for you to let everyone know where they can find you on your web and on social media.
Yeah, sure. You can find us online at www.creativejunkfood.com and on Instagram at Creative Junk Food and LinkedIn, Creative Junk Food as well.
Yes.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So you hear and you see, you absolutely can feel the energy between the two of you, and you're doing some amazing things. And I would love to invite you back after your launch and after you've gotten your feet wet and everything's up and running, so we can kind of see how things are going. And to all of my listeners and my viewers, I hope that you enjoyed listening to these two individuals, and I hope that you were inspired and in some way they were able to assist you in tapping into your positive inner voice so that you can talk yourself through and to anything you absolutely desire. So I will be right back with more of the Awaken Your Positive Inner Voice. Want to win a copy of my latest book, Awaken Your Positive Inner Voice? Simple. Visit my website at kenzandrowicz.com, take the self-talk assessment test, then tune in each week to see if you've won. Remember, as always, I'll be talking to you positively. Are you not entertained? Did you enjoy that interview? They are so inspirational. I am beyond motivated when it comes to keeping true to your dreams and your goals, regardless of the things that are happening to you and around you. But when you have that support system, those individuals who share that vision and who can come together with you to continue and carry it home and just make it happen. So that interview was more than I had anticipated. And what I mean by that is that some people are not very candid about sharing what it was that what it was that they went through and what they're going through in such detail. And I have to really give it up to the both of them. They are wonderful people to know. And if you have not, please go and check out their website. Take a look, take a listen, see what they have going on, and become a fan. And my question to all of you out there that are watching and that are listening, I want you to learn to utilize, tap into your inner voice. It's time to change the narrative. It's time to know and believe that you are successful, that you are talented. And regardless of what is present in your present moment that is reflecting, that is going on outside of you, know what's in here and you have the power to change it. That is the message for the Awaken Your Positive Inner Voice. That is why you come here. That is why we talk. That is why I share, because I know that we are all destined to do and be great. Well, I've taken up enough of your time. I thank you again for joining me. I am your host, Kenya Zandrowicz. And as always, I'll be talking to you positively.
These messages will now become subliminal. but your subconscious mind will be hearing and accepting all of the positive messages. Listen to the tapes as often as you can. The more you listen, the sooner success will come.
Wake me up from this physical world. Then shake me up, so I can see the world. Oh, pick me up from the illusion world. Ooh, damn baby, kiss me up, like it's the end of the world. Walking down the streets of my dreams, why it seems so real. I can't believe I see what's really real. See the things we feel, we can make them disappear. 'Cause the time is near, you see, baby. So won't you come with me? Wake me up from this physical world. Then shake me up, so I can see the world.